let's talk about the Renters' Rights Bill. So that'll be in the Commons tomorrow. Does this go far enough to help those private renters? Many will feel that the odds are still stacked against them with something like this.
Well, the Renters' Rights Bill is about putting the balance in place. For too long, the previous government promised that they put more protections in for renters, failed to do that. And what we're going to do is give renters more protections and make sure that we've still got those rental properties. So it's about fairness in the system, really, recognising that landlords have an important role to play, but also that tenants need protections, and that's what this bill will do.
And I guess some private renters would say, they've been promised change for a little while. Is this going to do enough to combat some of those concerns? And how quickly do you hope that you'll start to see some of these changes seep through, I guess?
Well, it will ensure that landlords can't ask for huge amounts of rents up front, which often disadvantages tenants. We're hoping that this legislation will be passed in the spring, and then as quickly as possible from that these protections will come into place. But make no mistakes, landlords know that these protections are coming down the road. The previous government promised action. They failed to take that action. It's this Labour government that's going to do that this year to ensure that renters have those protections they deserve.
Private tenants, some of them watching this often tell us that there's often long waits if there's maintenance issues in properties, stuff like that. Does anything in this bill help address some of that when it comes to long waits to get issues fixed that ultimately are down to landlords to sort?
Yeah, well, we're trying to engage landlords to make sure that we have a quicker response, that we have an overarching system that enables tenants to see which landlords are doing a good job, which are not, and that action can be taken where it isn't. I'd like to stress, majority of landlords do act reasonably and try and do their best, but there are those that don't do that, and I'm calling time on those that are not giving the renters the protections they deserve, and nobody should be living in a home that is not safe, and therefore Arab's law and the decent home standards that we want to introduce is about recognising those landlords that are doing the right thing and telling the other landlords that you need to step up, because this is not just about renting a property, it's somebody's home that they're living in, and therefore that has to be taken into account as well.
Some landlords groups have said that this could mean that potentially they take on unreliable tenants. They're at risk of doing that. How do you answer some of those concerns from some of those people that are renting out their homes?
Well, again, the clarity within the bill is around what issues that can be addressed and how they can be addressed. Section 21 no-fault evictions is not a way to address issues that landlords may have with some tenants, so we set that out more clearly about the expectations there, but also about making sure that tenants are more secure in their tenancy as well, so that because it is their home and that they do need protections. And this bidding war that we've seen in the past, where tenants are pitted against each other to try and increase their rents above market rates, will be preventing that from happening and giving tenants more clarity and more rights as part of their tenancy agreement, and providing clarity for the landlords as well who rent out their properties.
Some people living in the bigger cities, some of our audience will say that rent is very high. If landlords, some smaller landlords, were to leave the market potentially, could that then push rent prices up? Is that something that you've had to consider when putting together this bill?
Well, rent prices have been increasing primarily because of the supply problem, and that we've got a housing crisis in the UK. So the medium-term plan is to build more houses. That's why we've taken action, putting more money into the Affordable Homes Programme, changing the planning rules so we can get the houses built. But we've also put protections within the Renters' Rights Bill around rent increases to market rates and only annually so that we can't continually keep having this bidding wars, and that where tenants feel that they're having a hike in their rents that's unacceptable, that they can challenge that more easily through the tribunal system.